When an EF3 tornado tore through North St. Louis 1 year ago, many people lost their homes, which had been in their families for decades. People were displaced and forced to leave neighborhoods they knew and loved. For one St. Louis family, staying in North City was a priority even after the storm. Last spring, the Nolan family had a new roof put on their North St. Louis home. Just a few months later, it was ripped off by the May 16th tornado. Compared to some North City streets, their neighbors' homes were mostly spared. Theirs was the only one that sustained significant damage.
It was our first time dealing with a tornado, so everything was new to us, but for it to skip houses like that was pretty odd, that only our house was hit, and a few neighbors' house got some damage, but not to the extent of ours.
For the past year, Kevin Nolan, his wife Gloria, and his two children Dylan and Evan have been jumping from temporary home to temporary home, a friend's house, a hotel, and multiple rental homes.
It's just inconvenient. Half of our stuff is in a U-Haul right now. It's just annoying, but I'm kind of used to it because we've moved that many times.
Gloria grew up in North St. Louis. She says it was painful to see a community she loved so much in such a state of disrepair.
It was really devastating. I mean, I literally was in shock. Like after it happened, I spent a lot of time just sitting on my old front porch because I couldn't believe what had happened. I knew that there was already devastation here. And then the tornado just compounded that. But
her family story is one of resilience, not tragedy. With the help of their insurance, the Nolan family was able to pay not only to renovate their old home, but also build their new forever home right across the street. It will include 4 bedrooms.
For my daughter, my son, and spare bedroom.
A theater room.
First movie we're going to put on here will be Jurassic Park.
A spacious kitchen with an island, and one more personal addition.
I had my grandmother's dining room table, and I really wanted a space for it. And so we went back to the drawing board and carved out a formal dining room. When the tornado hit, the room where her dining room set was, it was the only room that was untouched.
Their old home is a duplex. The tenants who used to live on the other side plan to move back in.
This is the kitchen.
And Kevin's mother will move in where the Nolans lived.
It's been a long time coming.
Gloria may have a new address, but her commitment to North City hasn't changed.
I love this community. I want to see it thriving. Yay. And so I have to be here to be a part of that.
Construction on the Nolans family home is scheduled to finish this fall, and they say they're excited to spend their first Christmas in their new home.
That's just the beginning of what should be a rebuild effort, more broadly speaking.
Is that a promise?
New promises from Mayor Kara Spencer a year after the May 16th tornado destroyed North City. Tonight, Brent Solomon sits down with the mayor for part 2 of their one-on-one.
A pattern change is coming. Why that means the summer sizzle is on hold for the next week to 10 days.
Today marks the start of the 100 deadliest days on the roadway. We have the data and tips on how you can avoid becoming a statistic. A dangerous weekend on area roads. There were several crashes in the St. Louis region, some of them deadly. We learned tonight that an 18-year-old died today while riding a motorcycle on Congress Street in Pacific. Also today, one person was hospitalized and a car caught fire after a head-on crash on Lewis and Clark Boulevard in Moline Acres. And a driver died in a crash in Troy early Sunday. Thanks for joining us for 5 on your side at 10 on this Memorial Day. I'm Steve Savard in for Mike Bush and Kelly Jackson. Testing for lead is easier than ever, and more people say they're finding it in their toys and household items. But are the products the problem? Are the at-home test kits? Coming up, how DIY kits measure up to the real deal.
And I've never seen the meat prices so high.
Beef breaking the bank? Why meat is so expensive right now, and some switches to make if you're trying to save.
No big beefy weather systems are headed our way this week, which means the threat of severe weather should be over for the month of May. We're looking into the month of June in just 6 minutes.
Tonight, the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating what caused a deadly plane crash in the St. Louis area. A pilot died after his plane went down overnight at Spirit of St. Louis Airport in Chesterfield. We are learning new information by the minute about that deadly plane crash. Thanks for joining us on 5 on Your Side at 5. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Investigators say the pilot was killed just after takeoff. 5 on Your Side's Melanie Johnson joins us live from the scene after speaking to investigators and an eyewitness.
Illinois voters are casting their ballots right now in the state's primary election. We caught up with voters at Southwestern Illinois College in Granite City. The biggest races to watch are at the congressional level. Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin is retiring, and several candidates are vying to replace him. Tonight, we should also find out who will run against Governor J.B. Pritzker. Polls close in less than 2 hours, but if you are in line by 7, you can vote.
We have team coverage tonight on the candidates and the big races. Let's start with 5 on Your Side political editor Mark Maxwell.
Yeah, we'll get to Holden and Brent in just a minute, but look, this big Illinois Senate race, Democrats are lining up to try and replace Dick Durbin.
I want to get to some new details into the newsroom in the last hour. South Granite Russell just reopened after it closed down during a police standoff. 3 SWAT officers were hurt. They are expected to be okay. At least one's in the hospital. Police say a woman was driving recklessly in a construction zone. After an attempted traffic stop, she pulled into a parking lot, pulled out a hammer, but then put paper up to block her car window so they couldn't see her inside. Police say they learned the woman was recently reported missing and is having a mental health crisis. When SWAT officers got there, police say she pinned one of the officers between her van and a wall. 2 others suffered minor injuries. She is now in custody. Police say she will face several charges. If you went to bed last night hoping Illinois would keep the Chicago Bears, this morning did not bring the news you were waiting for. The Illinois legislature wrapped a marathon overnight session this morning. Thank you for joining us on 5 on Your Side at 4. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Brent Solomon. The legislature actually passed the state budget, but left the future of the Bears unresolved. Political editor Mark Maxwell now. He's been following this story all day for us.
You think you had a rough weekend? It was an all-nighter in Springfield. State lawmakers at the state capitol, they saw their Sunday night meld into Monday morning. 2 big decisions coming out of it.
We begin with information that we've just learned in the past few hours. Parts of Interstate 44 downtown are now reopened. Crews temporarily filled a sinkhole that kept the interstate closed over the past few weeks. Thank you for joining us at 4. I'm Brent Solomon.
And I'm Ann Allred. MoDOT says the stretch of interstate between the Stan Musial Bridge and Poplar Street Bridge is back open. Recent water and sewer main breaks caused that sinkhole and put a bridge column at risk of losing support. That column is now stable. Some closures will remain in place, including eastbound I-70 express lanes. They're closed at Union Boulevard. Broadway, the exit off of I-44 westbound, and the ramp from Broadway to eastbound 44. And Broadway is closed in both directions north of Biddle. Work on the sinkhole, it's not done yet. The sewer main still needs further repairs.
Let's go ahead and get a live look now over downtown St. Louis. A gloomy day in the bi-state with some on and off showers. In fact, we remain in a weather impact alert today. We could see even more rain before Saturday. Let's get over to meteorologist Lance Blocker for a closer look at the forecast.
Yeah, keeping a close watch on a few storms that have popped up here this afternoon. For the most part, just light to moderate rain across the region moving west to east. I want to point out one feature here, this one blown thunderstorm.
Shattered glass and shattered trust.
It just doesn't stop. It just seems like it's getting worse.
The bar owners losing patience after repeated break-ins.
A sloppy mix of rain, sleet, and snow has us in a weather impact alert. We're live on the roads and tracking if this wintry mix is a problem.
Bombs dropped early Saturday.
Those missiles are our ally in this war.
Our top story tonight, we hear from local voices as they process the conflict with Iran.
Some hope, I would also say some fear.
Thank you for joining us for 5 on Your Side at 10. I'm Laura Barcheski. Mike Bush has the night off. We are in a weather impact alert until early tomorrow morning for that wintry mix that might accumulate in some areas. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell starts our team coverage with the first look at our weather impact forecast. Scott?
Well, so far we've seen quite the mixture across the area. We've seen a little bit of snow, some cold rain, and we've seen some sleet when it first starts, and then it tends to transition to either the snow or the rain. Radar has lots of color colors on here. It's a little deceptive for sure. Let's get into the metro area. This is mostly rain. It's coming to St. Winfield right now where it looks like it's still snowing. Let's get out on the storm tracker. Lance Blocker's cruising around in Lincoln County. I know you've seen a little bit of everything tonight, Lance. Where are you? What do you have?
Yeah, Chief, we're headed northbound. We were in Winfield earlier. It's actually heavy snow. What you just talked about really summed it up perfectly. Let's go and show you off the front dash. You can see the rain, sleet, and snow mix. There was big flakes with this earlier. That initial band where that cooling of the atmosphere was taking place.
Do you have a favorite book of all time?
Every time I'm asked like whatever my favorite stuff is, it's like I've never consumed anything. I keep coming back to The Fault in Our Stars for whatever reason, but I think that like really kickstarted not only my like love of reading as a young adult, but also my like interest in writing and telling stories.
Travis, do you not like emos? I think that's the most silent this podcast has ever been. What?
Listen, the viewers would eat me.
Your problem's the Prevail? Is your problem the Prevail, or do you not like the square cuts because your fingers get dirty?
I don't like the square cuts. I don't like the thin crust. If we're gonna do pizza, I want deep dish. I want a thick crust. Fill that crust with something. Like, why does it taste like air?